Hi, my name is Bill Crumbaker, and I'm a certified negotiation expert. And I've been practicing real estate since 1976. Today, what I'd like to do is I'd like to give you a savvy buyer negotiation tip. Now, this tip is kind of the keys to your new home if you follow it. Uh, I just recently sold a house to a first time buyer. One of the very first things that I did was to have them get their loan completely underwritten. And the way they do that is they have to go to the lender. In this particular case, I had them go to my go-to lender, which I've been using for 25 years. His name is Brian Brinkley, and he's with First Tech. And in that 25 years, I've never lost a sale through financing. All my deals have gone through with Brian on financing. So that's really important. And I told him if he ever loses a deal, that'd be the last deal he ever gets. So, but he's a great lender. And my buyers went ahead and got their loan completely underwritten. And by getting the loan completely underwritten, it really takes the fear from the seller, because the seller's greatest fear is that whoever's buying their house will not be able to get the loan. That means that they're taking all the risk. They're taking their house off the market, and if they don't get the loan, then they're going to have to put it back on the market. And it's a great fear that sellers have. But when you get your loan completely underwritten, it eliminates that fear, because you're basically it's like having cash in hand, because you're guaranteed your loan. So having your loan completely underwritten really gives you an advantage. It takes the fear away from the seller that you're not going to get your loan approved. It puts you ahead of all the buyers that have only had their loan approved. And it gives you the ability to do several things that the buyers that just had their loan pre-approved can't do. The first is you can close much faster because your loan has already been underwritten. All you really need is the appraisal, and within about a week or two, maybe 21 days at the most, you can probably close. Oh, you will be able to close. And that's something that most buyers that have not had their loan underwritten can do. In addition to that, you'll be able to waive your financing contingency. And pre-approved buyers would be foolish to waive their financing contingency, because if for some reason they don't get the loan, maybe the documentation that they provided wasn't adequate or whatever, then they stand to lose their earnest money. And I don't think any buyer wants to lose their earnest money. But that's a risk that they would take if they were to waive their financing contingency. The other benefit, the third thing that they can do, is they can actually, if your loan has been completely underwritten, like I said, it's like having cash in hand, and you can actually compete with a all-cash sale. The only thing you have to do that you'd have to be willing, in order to compete with an all-cash sale, to pay the difference in cash if the property didn't appraise. That's really the only advantage that an all-cash offer has, is that you don't have to order an appraisal on an all-cash offer. So if you want to buy your home, the key to buying it successfully and giving you the most negotiation power as a buyer is to have your loan completely underwritten before you make an offer. And I'd say probably a good idea before you even start looking. If you like this negotiation tip, stay tuned for more. I've got many more tips I'd like to share with you on future videos on negotiation and real estate. Tips that are good for both buyers and sellers. So stay tuned.